Hi, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about how to start your business, goddesses, because as we know, 2020 is the year of the rise of the divine feminine. And you probably know that we're running the 2020 case study for the rise of female leaders to celebrate amazing women, and you can join us with that. And I'm going to talk about how to start your business for the new era during this new era, despite of what's going on, which is terrible, of course. However, we are going to focus on solutions and all the creative possibilities that we have at hand. And if you want to grab a notebook, there's a lot to get through today. I'm going to run through step-by-step instructions for you on how to start your business. Okay, so grab your notebook and pen if you want to take some notes. And I'm going to start off by just to motivate you and inspire you by letting you know that at age 52, I started my first ever company. And honestly, if I can do it, so can you, because I had never, ever run a business before. I had never worked online before. I started off as an actor, became, a filmmaker, TV presenter, author, speaker. I've always been creative and spiritual. I'd never, ever been business minded or, for that matter, focused on creating wealth. Now, in my own story, and if you're part of the mailing list for regular updates, etc., you would have received mail today. And you can subscribe on my website, by the way, just, about my own story. But I've had quite an extraordinary life journey. And I can honestly tell you that about 5 years ago, I ended up starting from zero. And in fact, starting this business to empower women to bridge the gender gap, I put everything I had into it, financially, in terms of time, in terms of everything. And that's why I'm saying that if I can do it, so can you. And I won't lie to you and say that it's easy. So that's the reason I actually created the Areti Goddess Online Program, to lead you step by step to empower you both personally and professionally with everything you need, the whole package. It's been challenging. However, because I'm living my purpose and passion, it's also been the most rewarding and creative experience of my life. And in fact, the Areti Goddess Online Program is what I've decided is my legacy. So Goddess says, if I can do it, so can you. And I'm going to lead you through step-by-step with step-by-step instructions today. And, don't worry if you're not, for instance, tech savvy, if the thought of working online scares you, because I can honestly say that I was the same. Okay, so we're going to go through it together. Don't you worry. Now, the thing is, you might say, you might be ready to start a business, in which case this is perfect for you. Or you might be thinking, perhaps I don't have any skills, or, you might be looking for ideas. And if you are, then I encourage you to watch the video on purpose and passion, or there's an online course called Purpose and Passion where you can remove any blocks and access your purpose and passion that's available to you as well. But just to give you a couple of examples, even if you say you don't have any skills, I can guarantee you are an expert in one area or another, okay? Even if it's moving house. Say you've had to move house 1,000,000 times. Well, you can help someone else move house, because by now you've become an expert at it. It could be that you're an expert at doing something at home. It doesn't really matter. You are an expert in one area or another, believe me. You have a genius, unique talent that you can share with the world, okay? So let's move on from that now. With business, there are two most important areas to look after. One is marketing and one is accounting. Those two areas are the most important in business. Now, leading on to our step-by-step instructions. And once again, before I forget, I've pulled out a goddess card for you this week. And it's absolutely perfect and on topic. And I'll go through this with you later. So the first step is to decide what your business structure is going to be. Now, in terms of business structures, you could be a sole trader, you could go into partnership, you could establish a company, which is what I did, or a trust. They're the different structures, so you can decide on those. Step number 2 is to pick a business type, and there are a myriad choices that you can make. You could have an online business, you could have a franchise, you could be a contractor, a service provider, you could be provide products. You know, there is a myriad different business types you can have. The next step is to apply for an ABN or an Australian business number and register your business name. Now, this is a legal requirement. However, registering your ABN is free for you. And you can do that with the Department of Industry, Innovation and Science here in Australia. Now, I am actually referring to Australian resources, but you can easily, as long as you have the step-by-step instructions, wherever you are in the world is fine, because you can just Google your own country and you'll get your own instructions for setting up a business. The next step is to register your domain name. Now, here you have two things to consider. First of all, that your domain name is not taken by someone else. So for that, you can actually Google domain administration and find out if your domain name is taken or not. The next thing is your domain name must actually reflect what you are going to provide as a product or service. So they're the two things to consider. In terms of registering a domain, again, very, very inexpensive. For instance, there's an online platform called Crazy Domains, and it only costs you what, I think it was $16.99 or something. And for domain hosting, it starts from as little as $3 a month. Okay, so it's not expensive. The next step is to identify your funding sources. Now, as a startup, we're usually cash poor, especially if you don't have a lot of capital and you don't need a lot to work online. That's the beauty of it, okay? However, in terms of funding sources, you can look at grants, government grants, especially at the moment, especially here in Australia. There are loads of government grants for small businesses that you can look into. And then there are such people as angel investors, and no investment is too small for angel investments. That's something to keep in mind. So it could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be someone you know who's passionate about what you want to do, that wants to invest in your business, okay? Now, the great thing about setting up a business now is that online business especially has increased to an incredible extent, okay? And the great thing, of course, about working at home and online is you're able to work in your own time, at your own pace, in your own space. That has been the beauty of us being isolated during this time. Okay, moving on now. The next step is to register for the correct taxes. Now, you don't want to get in trouble, okay? This is all legal. These are all legal requirements. So register for the correct taxes for the business that you're running. And if you're just starting out as a sole trader is a very simple way to start whatever you're doing. The next step is to build a solid network of strategic partners. So whatever you're doing, for instance, in my industry, empowering women, there are so many women's platforms that you can collaborate with, and also by networking, going to networking events. That's a great way to meet people, although these days it's all virtual and online again. So networking is really great. But if we're not isolated, then you can also work out of co-working spaces, which is a really great way to meet other people with startup businesses. And they have free Wi-Fi as well, which is really awesome. Now, in terms of other women's networks you can join online, there's Femiconomy, there's the Ruby Network here in Australia. There's so many all over the world. Like SoGal is a great one. So many of them. The next step is to create a business plan. So with your business plan, depending on the type of business you have, you will have a specific business plan. And the great thing is there are loads of free business plan templates that can lead you step by step that you can download online. What you can Google is top 10 business plans for free. So there's a tip there for you. The next step is to design your logo. Now, if you have a budget, the best thing to do is hire a graphic designer. However, if you don't have a budget and you want to do this in a really inexpensive way, platforms like Canva are fantastic and they're free. So you can choose templates or create your own. There's actually a logo creation on Canva as well. There's also Vistaprint that you can look at. They're just a couple of suggestions for you. The next step is to create a website. And again, you have free options. For instance, Wix, they also offer free web hosting. Wix is free, WordPress is free. If you're looking for an e-commerce website, Shopify, which is the one I use as well, is great for e-commerce, okay, especially because it's connected to all the online apps. Anything to do with Google is fantastic. So when it comes to blogs, if you want to start blogging, now here is a way you can start a business in a really simple way. You build a free blog on Blogger, which is connected to Google, and that's great. Or there are others like Wix, Network Solutions, Squarespace, WordPress again. The great thing about blogs is that if you're writing about something you're passionate about and you build a great following, soon advertisers will approach you. And when people click on those ads, you can start making an income. And that goes for YouTube videos as well. If you're a vlogger, okay, great way to start making an income. Build your audience, and then before you know it, advertisers want to advertise on your channel and you start making an income. Of course, then you move on to things like email platforms and start building funnels and all the rest of it. So basically, what I'm providing for you here are the basic step-by-step instructions to start a business. Now, if you want the in-depth instructions and the pros and cons with different business structures and things like that, then I recommend that you access the online course on how to start the business with the link below. Or the best thing you can do, which is the full package, is the Areti Goddess Online Program. And it's all part of that as well, including tips for procrastination, tips for motivation, networking tips, everything, okay? When it comes to motivation, I will give you a huge tip. When the chips are down, when things get tough, when you start to become lazy, unmotivated, especially being at home all the time, you can, inertia tends to hit us at certain times. So, the great thing, the upside, of course, is that when you're really passionate about something, then you're motivated all the time. But if the chips are down, okay, always come back to your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I passionate about this? How am I helping and serving other people? And as soon as you access your why, you will become motivated and get your mojo back again, goddess. So I hope that empowers you today with these simple steps to start your business, and you can start from there. Now, if you do need help, by all means, contact me, and you can always access your free coaching session with me as well. So we're up to our goddess card now, and isn't she beautiful? See how she has a cat features. Her name is Blast. Oh, sorry, not Blast, Bast. Bast, for Bastet or Pasht, was the Egyptian goddess who appeared in cat form. The Egyptians highly revered cats. The word for cat, Mao, also denoted light and was cognate with the word for mother. The cat is a lunar animal and also a solar animal, representing the power of the sun as reflected in nature. Since the cat is an earth animal, Bast is also an earth mother goddess, a giver of life and abundance. In touch with a wild, instinctual nature, she's also a protector of women during childbirth. Like a cat, she's fiercely independent, belongs to no one but herself, goddess. Bast is one of the more joyful goddesses. Her elaborate festivals in the town of Bastustas were renowned for their joyful dancing. Embodying a cat's gentler aspects, Bast is a personification of life and fruitfulness, hence starting a business. The quintessential life-affirming mother, she reminds us to be playful and relaxed like a cat and to find occasions to celebrate life. And goddess, when you're doing something you love and loving what you do, there is no greater joy and no better way to have fun. So I hope that empowers you today, and I will see you next time. Until then, namaste. Wishing you amazing success always.